Jai Sadgurudev. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all in this online series of Behingam Yoga Rejuvenation session, which we have initiated to boost energy around when the global pandemic started and people are not allowed to go outside. And of course, for going inside, nobody will stop you. By attending the session, you might be able to understand how to start a journey within yourself. So please stay focused till the end of this session. I'm Om Prakash. On behalf of Behangam Yoga Singapore team, we would like to extend our thanks to all regular attendees of the session, all our newcomers, and our team members and their family to grace this occasion. For those who are not aware of Behangam Yoga, allow me to introduce you. Behangam Yoga Organization is an NGO, a pioneer in yoga and advanced meditation training, aiming at uplifting the human life in all aspects. The organization was established in year 1924 by His Holiness Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who discovered this wonderful meditation technique after 17 years of strenuous meditation practice. And today, under the guidance of Prajan Sadguru, His Holiness Sri Swatantra Devji Maharaj, Behangam Yoga has reached around 45 countries and has transformed the lives of more than 5 million disciples. Our international headquarters is situated on the bank of holy river called Ganges, Allahabad, which is also known as Prayagraj. Amid global pandemic, Behangam Yoga Singapore team has started daily online session of the breathing exercise, pranayam, and meditation, as well as the online rejuvenation session. So coming to this online rejuvenation session, as agenda display over the screen, it will take about 1.5 hours to complete. We will start the session by offering a prayer to the holy feet of the Master, followed by the Behangam Yoga Singapore team update. This is what happened the last 7 days. And after that, there will be a panel discussion on the topic of my stress and my solution. This is related to our previous session on the stress and its management. So here we are trying to learn from everyone's experience is more practical approach where panelists going to share their view based on the real experience. And after that, there will be a closing prayer, which we call as Santi part. And there will be a special comment from our team lead and both of the thanks. So this is all about agenda. And before the session ends, you may have opportunity to ask a question based on today's discussion. So please feel free to write in a chat box or wait for the question and answer session at the end. So let us start the session. The first, we are going to offer a welcome song, a small prayer for the world peace and prosperity. Prayer will be displayed on the screen in Hindi and English. To offer the prayer in the holy feet of the Master and their blessing for this session, I would like to invite Master Bahin and Master Bimrace. Both are the brothers and highly inspired by their parents. I see them joining over our daily practice session almost regularly. I hope both of you are ready now. And everyone, please join the prayer, Swadgan and Mangalgan together with Wahin and Bimers. Over to you.
Jai Sadgurudev. Swagat Gan. आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोम रस बरसाइए दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए वर्ग द्वंद्व अशांति दूर कर भव भेड़ मिटाइए सार्वभौमी समष्टि सत्ता ध्यात्म राज्य बनाइए भेष भाषा भाव जग में ज्ञान पर दरसाइए समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए विश्व शिक्षक ज्ञान सदाप नीति स्वर अपनाइए जय सद्गुरुदेव
Thank you, both of you. The way you offer the Swadgan and Mangalgan is really inspiring us, is really motivating to us, and also sending me the message that knowledge can be achieved in any age. Thank you again, and we wish you for a great future and hope to see you soon. Now, let me keep you up to date. So, on 20th June, which was the last Sunday, we all who stay out of India got blessing from the Master. It was a virtual event called as Divine Darshan, where more than 500 seekers attended by the Zoom meeting with the Master, the Prajan Sadguru and Sant Sri Namdevji Maharaj. Singapore team tried to reach each and every person who got initiated in Singapore and try to convey the message, the detail of the event so they can join as well. As we all know, it is more than a year under the lockdown everywhere. Nobody can go anywhere. Then Master decided to bless everyone who stay outside and cannot reach any of the ashram in India. It was the first event so far. From Singapore, many seekers joined. Some of them got chance to interact with the Swamiji. I have captured the moment and put it in front of you in the slide. Thanks for those who have joined. We may reach each of you and listen your own experiences. Believe me, it is one of the best moments to preserve in your memory. Please jot it down and keep it. In future, you may realize you all not a normal soul who have got interacted with the Swamiji. Who is Sadguru? Guru Dayal pal nayan uthave, pal mein paar lagai. The moment try to capture on your memory. So we will reach everyone who joined the Divine Darshan session. Just to mention everyone, what Sadguru wants us to do, the only and only to do a prachar work. The rest all other things of yours will be taken care by the Master. Thank you again who has joined this particular session. And then after that, the 21st June, which we also know as the International Day of the Yoga. So Singapore team, our Binghamton Yoga Singapore team has also participated in different way. We have conducted 3 online sessions. The first one is about Ayurveda talk, and the second one is to practice the Yogasana. The third one, we had talked about the importance of the Havan. So about the yoga session, we call is learning about the Yogasana, which was happened on 25th of the June, Friday evening. It was about 1 hour session where we learned about the Ayurveda and how it's going to help our life. Where some questions being answered on the same time and few things were suggested. And all the remedy was given are the based on our kitchen, which we usually keep it every time. And this session was conducted by the specialist, Mr. Chandrakant Ji. He was joined us from India. The second session, which was the practice of the Yogasana, was taken by Vibhuti Ji, happened on 26th of the June, Saturday morning. We have learned a few Yogasanas. The third activity, which was on the talk on the Havan Yagna, was conducted on Saturday evening, where we learned what the importance of the Havan and how it should be progressed. And the interesting thing, there's many benefits, not only for you, even though it helped your environment to clean. And there's one interesting thing come out in the picture is we can join, we can book a Havan through online as well. As you can see in the screen, there's a website called www.eyajna.com, where you can book a Havan, which we all can perform virtually. So this is all about our past session. This is an update for everyone. If anyone interested to know more, please reach out to our team members. Now moving forward, our panel discussion for today. And as we know that today's topic is my stress and my solution, where we're going to listen the real experiences. To initiate the discussion, I would like to invite Mr. Srinivasji to take a lead on this. So Srinivasji joining us from Singapore. He is a highly dedicated, a regular practitioner of Bhingam meditation, has been associated with Bhingam Yoga for more than 2 years. And I see him, he's quite busy person, but even though this Bhingam Yoga helped him a lot. And basically he's from the shipping industry, and things are keep on changing each and every moment. So over to you, Srinivasji, for this talk. And everybody please join the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Omji. Jai Sadgurudev. I would request the panelists to come on video, please. On the panelists, Prabhat Ji, Anshul Ji, Vikas Ji, Venkat Ji, and Anshul Ji. I thank Bhingam Yoga Singapore, Subhash Ji, Poddar Ji, to give me this opportunity to conduct this panel discussion. The topic of this discussion is my stress and my solution. Let me introduce you to the esteemed panel. Prabhat Ji is a chartered accountant and a regular practitioner of Bhingam Yoga. He's been associated with Bhingam Yoga from the last 4 to 5 years and a regular practitioner. He's joining us from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Rishi Ji is based in Singapore and he's working in the banking sector as an architect, associated with Bhingam Yoga from more than a year as a regular practitioner. He hails from Banaras and he has passed out from the IIT BHU. Vikas Ji is joining us from Malaysia. He is an IT professional and got initiated with Bhingam Yoga in 2010. He is a regular practitioner of Bhingam meditation and is an authorized master to initiate anyone in Malaysia. He likes yoga, gardening, and cooking. Venkat Ji is also a fellow chartered accountant and a certified IT project manager and an entrepreneur. He has vast experiences across Asia with global consultancy firms and startups. Welcome, Venkat Ji. Anshul Ji is also in shipping industry as a marine engineer. We grew up in the same college from the same alumni. of Calcutta Marine Engineering. And he is a fleet manager and operates a fleet of ships under his banner. And he is also an avid promoter of transformation. He believes in transforming lives, and he's involved with a forum which enables people to grow. Welcome all of you to this panel. Stress. I'm sure all of us know that stress is such a, it's known to all of us that stress shouldn't be a part of our lives. But I personally put stress into two sectors. I call it the good stress and the bad stress. Now, when I said this good stress and bad stress, I've been regularly questioned, what do you mean by good stress? How can stress be good? Now, that's what I say is that part of the stress which is good for accountability and deliverance of what we are supposed to deliver. Beyond that, it's bad stress. Now, that bad stress is what we are discussing now. All of us, at some part of our lives, have been through extremely stressful moments. And hence, I would request Rishi ji to start and tell us about one stressful moment and how he got over it. Rishi.
Thank you, Srinivas Sat Gurudev, Jai Sat Gurudev. Yeah, so as you mentioned, I mean, our life is full of stress. Like since our childhood, like you get into education, there is a stress, there is an exam, there is a stress. And then going forward, getting married is a stress. After getting married, also becomes a stress. So, so there are so many conditions we go through, and as you rightly mentioned, there are good stress and bad stress, right? And bad stress deteriorates our condition, which we should avoid. At that point of time, how to deal with comes through practice and how we experience it, right? So from my personal life, I would take one example today, and which is quite recent one. Okay, so my mother was traveling, as you mentioned, I'm from Varanasi. So my mother was traveling from Bangalore to Varanasi via Delhi, and there was a halt in Delhi to my sister's place. And at the same time, there was a COVID explosion in Delhi, right? And she was trapped into that. And we were thinking that how to go. I mean, she can travel to Varanasi or not, or she can come back to Bangalore, and nothing was possible at that point of time. And she had to reside in Delhi, right? And that was giving us a lot of stress that, and my mom is diabetic, and she has some morbid conditions. So we were very much worried about that. So, I mean, we analyzed the condition and we said, okay, instead of worrying too much, let's act how we can safeguard her and how we take care of and how we utilize whatever resources we have. Okay, whatever condition is there, now we are facing it. Now taking stress or worrying from it, it is not going to solve the problem, right? So we took some measures, and we took help of relatives and others who are there. Okay, and even we spoke to some doctors also. If something happens in that condition, then we are having help ready there. But for God's grace, nothing happened. And I mean, she stayed there for 1.5 months, and then she is back now in Bangalore. So, I mean, that was a very stressful condition when your personal and loved ones are going through some condition and where you can't help, right? You can't be physically present there. You can't do much. But what you can do is not to take stress, but solve the problem. Solve the problem in the sense that whatever you can think, analyze from your resources, what you can utilize, try to help from that perspective. Yeah. Srinivas ji, over to you.
Thank you, Rishiji. That is an interesting perspective because it's one of the, I think all of us face this on a regular basis, small incidents here and there, but they lead us to undue stress. And as you rightly said, a little bit of planning and a little bit of presence of mind will help us to get over the situation. I would now request Anshulji, who has also been dealing with stressful moments and coming up and down. Anshulji, can I request you to discuss one of the stressful moments in your life and a solution that you did it on your own?
Okay, stress is there, it's there always. And to pick one, I get it, like what Rishiji just shared, is a circumstance that's out of my control. And that is what I'm going to define as stress. And it could be, when I was dealing with the similar situation, I would say when my father passed away 2 years back in 2019, and before that when he was not well and I was supporting him from Singapore. Those were stressful moments in the sense that there was something that I had no handle on, and it required me to be with it and like really catch what I'm saying about it. And this is post 2013, what Srinivas was mentioning is, having gone through and experienced a life transforming program where really I got to the source of, that it's the language that I'm using and what I'm saying about it is what's shaping my experience. And those moments are stressful in the way that I'm unable to explain about it. I mean, as long as I'm stuck in something's wrong and I'm trying to fix it, it's causing me to experience those anxieties and stressful moments and all that, what I'm trying to now fix. When I'm not trying to fix it, that's when I'm acting on it. And I experience these moments as they are, versus me saying that that's stressful and causing myself an experience of that. So I don't know whether I'm answering a question and giving you a reference to a moment where I was stressful. I'm stressed probably every day, but I really manage it in a way that's all coming from, what's available from meditation, from like really discovering who I am and all that. So over to you, Srinivas.
Okay, I get it, Anshul. Stress is there around the corner, every nook and corner that we go. Whether we pick up whether the gas is exhausting and the gas cylinder has not been ordered, or just there's a knock on the door and you don't know who is there. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, that stress is there all over the place. It's about how we deal and act with it. I would now request Prabhatji to throw light on this same topic, discuss one stressful moment and the way you dealt with it. Prabhatji. Unmute yourself, Prabhatji.
Jai Sat Gurudev. Thanks, Srinivas ji, for giving me this opportunity and inviting me. See, I feel I'm a bit different than but the way you all explain. Actually, stress is state of mind. There is no such thing as stress. And over a period of time of regular practice, I realized that earlier stress used to come very frequently in my life. Now, there is hardly anything which creates stress in me. Yes, I know there is urgency. I realize that, yes, I have to take some immediate action, but I don't feel stressed. Sometimes people say that, oh my God, I completely drained out. Oh, I do not know what to do, how to handle. Now I have overcome that situations. That used to be very frequent. Now I'm talking about 5-6 years back. It may be over the age, I do not know, but I feel I give credit to my regular meditation practice without fail, morning and evening. I may not be regular on our daily session run by Subhasji, but because my timings are fixed now, Saturday, Sunday, all 5 o'clock is confirmed. Means there is no such thing as 6:30 or 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So what I have realized that meditation gradually gives you a better command over your thought process. And it improves indirectly, slowly, very slowly, and you cannot realize all of a sudden. But gradually, over a period of time, you will realize that, yes, my stress level has gone down. I hardly get irritated for anything. I do not get puzzled for whatever situation is. And it is now I can realize that when you go inside the problem, you hardly get solution to it. But when you keep yourself cool and don't get stressed, then you get a better solution to solve the problem and you become more useful. I just give you a recent example of COVID. When India was attacked by COVID, I was really very upset and I felt that I'm going to cry. But then within few minutes of the news, when it was coming every day, and first thing I did, I stopped opening TV. I was in touch with my relatives and so forth. And then immediately, because of my thought process, which was cool, I decided what I can do from here. Being a chairman of the chapter, I immediately, that next morning, I sent a message that after talking to a number of persons that they need badly the oxygenator, I released a message appeal, and morning I released by 11 o'clock, we have 36,000 ringgit in our donation box, means our chapter's account. That then immediately, same day, we went to see the source of supply. And by 3 o'clock, machine reached to our office, and 6 o'clock, DHL collected and sent it. So that what I feel the credit goes to my state of mind, which allowed me to think properly in positive manner, to do something rather than getting stressed and getting perturbed or getting disturbed. That what is the biggest achievement which I have through this Vihangam Yoga meditation. That's all, Srinivasji.
Thank you, Prabhaji, for sharing that. Before I move on to the other two panelists, I would like to summarize a few things which come to my mind from what Anshul says and what Prabhaji has said just now. Anshul says stress is all around the corner. Let's say we are outside on the street and it starts raining. Stress is like that. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Even if you have an umbrella or a raincoat and are well protected, you will get slightly drenched. So you got to be prepared for that. Now coming down to what Prabhaji has said, it's like if you have a bucket of normal temperature water and you add a little hot water to it, which is stress. Based on the temperature of the water in the bucket, which is how cool have you kept yourself, the hot water is going to immediately get submerged in it and you will not feel the hot water's existence in a few seconds after it goes. If it goes into a bucket of iced water, you can imagine how soon it will get diluted. So what both of you have said relates very clearly to this aspect that stress is around the corner, and how cool, how prepared you are with various forms of methods which you may have devised over the period of time. How cool you have created yourself. This hot water called stress is going to come into our lives every nook and corner. Now, I would like to go to Vikasji. Vikasji has been a regular, he's an initiator. He's been doing this Vihangam Yoga meditation for almost 15, 16 years now. Vikasji, I would like to hear from you on a particular stressful moment, and as such a devoted and dedicated practitioner of Vihangam Yoga, would you like to throw some light onto this, how you dealt with the stressful situation as a solution for yourself?
Jai Sadgurudev to everyone, and thank you, Srinivasji, for giving this opportunity here. I think, my thought on stress is very much similar to what our friends and have shared here, like Rishiji or Anshulji or Prabhatji. Stress and anxiety, basically, it's an emotion. I mean, this is my thought, just to add some more here. It's an emotion which evolves as a result of our expectation, which we cannot handle, or some adverse situation which comes in our daily life. So yeah, I mean, I'll repeat what Anshulji said, like stress is everywhere, but the thing is how we accept it, how we act on that. And I'm sure everybody knows this saying that if you have a problem and you know the solution, why to worry? On the other hand, it says that if you know a problem and if you don't know the solution, why to worry? So that's a very, I mean, positive way of saying, like, don't take stress. If you know the solution, just accept it and go for it. If you don't know the solution, don't go for it. Look for other solution, but don't take stress here. I mean, coming back to the situation which I went through, I will also share what others have shared, like recent due to the pandemic. And I believe everyone has faced this situation because we have somehow connected to India, and the situation in India was very, very bad in past 2 months, during, especially in April. And I'm not other than, I mean, I'm on the same boat. So yes, it came. I was also impacted. It's related to my family, and I know that I cannot do anything physically, but yes, I can just be on the call and then motivate whoever it is, either my parents, my brother, or my sister-in-law, whoever it is. And other than that, what I can do is prayer. And I believe there was a question from Prabhatji to Subhashji. I remember that, okay, this has happened to my family, what I should do. And Subhashji suggested, like, okay, you should do this, where the Sankat Mochan part, then Swarved part, some particular chapter he also mentioned, and he also mentioned some of the mantras. Yes, and I feel, yes, that's the only thing I can do from here, other than being present. I mean, calling my parents and then saying this, yes, because saying is very easy. I can say anything to anyone, like, okay, be motivated, don't lose hope, you need to be positive, you need to take medicine and then drink hot water and then whatever it is. But saying is very easy, but acting on those advice is not so easy. I can definitely, I also did that. But what I did myself is the prayer. I also had a Akhand Diya, which is still there. And I'm happy my Diya is still there for past 3 months. And I'm trying to continue it. I don't know until when. And yeah, that will be there. I still do almost every day the Sankat Mochan part. And I still follow the instruction what Subhashji said. And I feel that, yeah, that's positive energy which came, the kind of changes which came after all those things. I felt it. I feel very blessed as, yes, those things are working for me. And today, yeah, I mean, we are back to the normal situation. Everybody in my family is okay. But yeah, I mean, again, one thing is still there. I will all, at the end, I will say, there is a saying from Sant Kabir Das ji, Sukh mein sumiran sab kare, dukh mein kare na khoye, aur jo sukh mein sumiran kare, so dukh kahe ko hoye. So even if we are back to the normal, we should not forget that, okay, this situation can anytime, anywhere, the stress can come, this kind of stress basically. Then, I mean, there are definitely other stresses like related to work, related to personal relationship, all those things. But I'm talking about this stress, especially. This can come anytime. Yeah, things can switch anytime. Yeah. We should not forget what has happened. So we should be grateful to the Sadguru, the blessings, and we should always continue with that things what we have done. So with this, yes, I will say I request everyone to just definitely continue with your meditations. If you have not started, please start with this. And if you are already doing, please follow and get blessings from Sadguru. Thank you, Srinivas ji. Over to you. Jai Sadgurudev.
That was an interesting perspective of Kabirda, of quoting Sant Kabirdas, which is very true and apt for all of us. So we should continue to do what we are supposed to do, and whatever solutions we create for ourselves, we should consistently stay focused on that. And it is very interesting to hear all those things that you have done over this COVID time. And even the COVID thing reflects with what your opinion was. You know the problem, but you have no solution. So why stress? You know that the pandemic is hanging around. You can't do anything. So why stress about it? You have no solution to it. So thank you, Vikas ji, for that. Now I would like request Venkat ji, who is another experienced person in these aspects, and I have heard about and read, talked to him about his stories. So definitely an interesting perspective. I would like to hear from you, Venkat ji, regarding a stressful moment and your solution.
Right. Thank you, Srinivas ji and Subhash ji, for inviting. And before I even speak a word, there is a great learning. And I would say that Prabhat ji, I would definitely like emulate what you have achieved. Okay. So when you started, you are saying that, okay, I don't get into stress. That is very profound. And everybody want to be in that space. Okay. So then Anshul said stress is everywhere. Okay. So good things, bad things all spread around us actually. But then how we handle that makes us the winner, how you want to see the other side of it actually. Okay. So stress is part of our life. Okay. As explained in the life, every stage we get into stress, but on a daily basis, okay, suddenly you are late for your Zoom call. So then you come with your shirt and leave your pants. So that is also a stressful moment to get into that. But we manage all our stuff in all different ways actually. But one particular incident I would like to say that then it would really amplify my stressful experience actually. Okay, this is early March 2020. I was in Chennai for a client meeting, and this meeting went on very well actually. So we have been following up with this. His name is Mr. Anant Kumar, and he's a big investor. We are looking forward for his. He's giving go ahead actually. So we spoke like 4 hours, and then they said that okay, let's go ahead, and he committed $20 million to bring into Singapore for us to manage here actually. Okay. So fantastic achievement with all the thing. Happy moment. So I came back next day, Indian airports were shut down. Okay, so then few days later, Singapore went into shutdown. Okay. But all these things didn't bother, but we are working for something new, very exciting. So every day in touch with Anant, and also there is another common friend who introduced me to him, Lakshman, who is based here also. So we were planning the structure, how to go about it, all those things. So then 2 months later, early June, Anand gave a go ahead, said, now money is ready to come, you go and incorporate a company. So we incorporated a company on a given time and date, that is on the 3rd June morning, some 11 something, he gave exact moment that was incorporated actually. Okay, so then we are working on that, how we are going to take infrastructure, office, what kind of people we need, who. So the next stage already kicked in it, right? Okay. So daily we are doing it that, okay, as if we already started this activity actually. So on 23rd June, 20 days later, we are supposed to have a call in the afternoon. Then he said that I will have my lunch and I'll call you back. So I was waiting for his call. It didn't come. Then later in the evening, I got a message. Okay. His son put a message, uncle, dad passed away this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. So you can imagine, I just froze. Okay, so what did this mean? This is the one of the biggest client I've been working on, and I just coming out of completing another assignment. So we were looking forward. Now the whole thing is just gone actually. So I felt like the ground under my feet collapsed, and you can imagine the stress levels. It was sky high, I can say that. Okay. So I didn't even know 23rd night how it was passed actually. Then 24 morning came, then the whole family is in stress. How are we going to take it forward actually? Then suddenly that afternoon I decided that, okay, I will not give into stress too much. Already 12-14 ghanta already waste kar diya isme, right? So let's not do this actually. Then instead of focusing on stress, let's look into what is the source of the stress. Okay, if you broadly see, if you're doing something which you don't want to do or you're forced to do, it causes stress. Okay. On the same token, this second thing is you want to do something and you're not able to do it. That is also causes stress. So clearly my situation is the second one actually. Okay, so then what is the way out of it actually? Okay, so then I called the Lakshman, say that this is a very bad situation, what we should do. Okay, so until that, we were not worried about what is happening in the COVID, everything. So, but then now you see that everybody is losing jobs, businesses shutting down, and you're not even to go and meet people. So everything is totally uncertain actually. So the paradox of uncertain is the life is uncertain. So when you go to that level, so this is just a situation in life. So this is not a bigger thing. So don't worry about too much of it actually. So that given access actually. So next thing what we did is actually, so now accept it, this is it. Okay, then let's look into what is in our hand actually. So we are seeing that the business was there at a certain, we have done a lot of groundwork, all those things are there. Let's visit each aspect of it actually. Okay. So, but as you're discussing, we are getting into too many stories, or still the worry part, stress part is there actually. Okay. So, for example, we say that the funds did not come in. That is the fact actually. Okay. But when we start discussing funds, we started telling that, "Arey yaar, thoda pehle kar lete." We could have signed him. We could have gone to his source. Okay, we could have secured early. Okay, so then we started putting into two separate boxes. The fact is only simple one fact that money has not come in. The other side, you have all these tons of stories, and you can discuss hours on that actually. Okay, so we paused. We discussed. Let's drop the second box. We cannot do anything about it actually. So let's focus on the one. So that itself relieved you stress. So now you have something to work on. Money has not come in. So what is the alternative? Okay, so we came out with a detailed action plan. So what are things we can do? We can reach out to different people. We can expand our business different ways. Then we put a target date for each of the aspects, and we took ownership actually. So that gave a lot of work for each of us. We went full on to focus on the work. So no more thinking about what happened, what is the stress actually. So within a couple of weeks, so we could develop new pipe and new insights actually. And now this become that need of the hour. And we really went all out to reach out to people and talking it. So in business, we found a lot of new insights actually. What else we can do, what we were originally planning also actually. So we built a pipe and we progressed from there actually. So we are in full on action since then. And we never realized the stress or fear, what they're already gone. We never have to even think about that actually. So since then, this is last year, 23rd June, we are exactly 1 year now actually. But we are full of energy, full of action right now. We have not got that kind of money, but the pipe is growing. But we are sure within a matter of time. So we will surpass what we were targeting last year. And whatever it is, no stress. So that is the bottom line.
Yes, Venkatji, that's a very interesting perspective, and it echoes with what Rishiji had also mentioned.
Right.
I can read between what you said is plan, create an action plan, dump the things which are not important to us, and focus on what is important. If we focus on what is important and what is the requirement at that moment, we will be able to regenerate ourselves, and we can be resilient enough to overcome those situations and completely steer out of it. That's what I can hear loudly from what you said. Very interesting to hear all the 5 of you on your respective stressful moments and solutions.
I would just like to add one small thing.
Prabhatji, please go ahead.
The secret lies in this wisdom is you must find out the cause of stress, and you think whether I can do anything to make it better or not. If you cannot do anything to make it better, cut it off, or that exactly what he said, drop the box into the dustbin. And what you can do, you focus on it, your stress is totally gone. That is the exercise. Automatically it has now been inculcated, because and a credit goes again to meditation practice, because why this did not come earlier to my mind, why it is coming now only within the last 2-3 years time. So certainly because of the meditation, your mind starts working in a different manner. And especially when you have surveyed with you, when you are regularly reciting it, a different type of energy in the environment you feel, and you make yourself more positive in your thought process, rather than it is in our hand whether to look into the negative aspect or look at the positive aspect. In any situation, you always have these two options, so that your mind has to be attuned to always pick the positive aspect, drop the negative aspect, pick the positive aspect, drop the negative aspect, and your life will be wonderful. Of course, you may say, Ansulji may say, sir, it is not in your hand, but I feel now it is 100% in our hand. Thanks.
Okay, Prabhatji, actually that leads, you led me into the second part of what I've had to discuss, which is how, I mean, Vikas ji had mentioned that कहना आसान है, करना मुश्किल है. But as I can hear from you loud and clear, that Vihangam Yoga meditation and its practice, and I have been hearing it from you over the past months, how it has helped you overcome when you were in a very stressful moment and when you had an accident. So I would request Rishi ji, as a practitioner, what are the 1 or 2 things that come to your mind apart from creating a plan of action if you see a stressful moment coming in front of you? Any 2 or
Yes, thanks, Srinivasji. So I would like to give one analogy here. Okay, so what happens and why suddenly sometime you get diarrhea? Okay. You eat something which your digestion system cannot take, right? And similarly, you get mental diarrhea when you get stressed. Actually, I read it very long back and I recalled it during our discussion. So I just thought of giving this analogy. So your stress is actually mental diarrhea. You're not able to accept the situation which is unforeseen for you. You have not thought of that kind of situation and suddenly it appeared. And why it is creating such a problem with you, that you have identified with so many things which is not you. Okay, so let's bring to the point that how you solve it, how you okay, so you have to identify yourself from all these things which you have identified with, right? All emotions and all I mean what not, right? So emotions, even your clothes you have identified yourself with, right? So how to disidentify yourself? you have to go deep, right? And that's where yoga helps us. Okay, how yoga helps us? Yoga means union. Okay, union with who? First with yourself, and then with God, right? So Sadhguru Sadafal Devji has mentioned very clearly, right? I would just read that doha, right? And which is a very essence of it, right? अद्भुत मार्ग योग विहंगम मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा, यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करी हो अमर लोक पहुंचाऊंगा. That means you would unite with God, okay, and you would unite first with yourself, and with that you would disidentify with all these unimportant thing which you are identified yourself with, right? And that's what bringing you a lot of emotions and connectivity, and that's what bringing stress to you, right? And so to identify yourself, you have to perform yoga and meditation. And as Sadhguru Sadafal Devji has mentioned many times, and whenever I read it, I really get very charged up, right? So when I do perform meditation, I really think what is happening, okay, and how we are connecting. So what first step of Vihangam yoga is doing is you are disassociating, okay? You are controlling your sense, right? And you are disconnecting. You're not giving any input, okay? Like analogy to your diarrhea, right? You have stopped eating. You have to stop eating. If you're having diarrhea, you have to stop eating. So you are giving 10 minutes medication, morning and evening, daily, right? And that's where you start progressing and connecting with yourself instead of connecting with all over the world, right? And that's where I find that this is very important, and that's very in right direction. If we start practicing more and more meditation, and that's where we would protect ourselves from all the emotional challenges which we are getting, and we are getting into stress. Okay, and I would give just one more simple analogy, okay, and I read it long back as well, and that's very related to as well. So there was a conversation between Guru and Shishya, okay, and there was a Guru gave salt to Shishya and said, okay, mix in water and drink it. Okay, and he said he mixed in 1 glass of water and he drank it, and he said it's very salty. Okay, now Guru said you go and mix in lake, mix in a lake, and now take some water from it and drink it. How it is? It's not at all salty. It is very sweet, right? So similarly, if you take all stress on yourself, then it is going to be challenging. If you think that it is all you're connected in a way that you're connected to God, okay, you are connected to yourself, then you won't feel the stress.
Interesting, Rishiji. That is a very interesting perspective, what you have said. And it goes in line with what we mentioned a while ago when we were discussing Prabhatji. Actually, this topic is so interesting that I would like to continue on and on. But in the interest of time, I will just go to Anshul as a non-practitioner at the moment, but introduced to Vihangam Yoga by Subhasji's discussion yesterday. Anshul, a quick one to put in perspective. I know you have said stress is all around the corner, but I mean, what do you do? 1 or 2 quick snippets, how you deal with them if it comes to you. A quick one.
Okay, so I mean, in that perspective, I would go with Prabhatji. While I acknowledge the stress is everywhere, it doesn't have effect on me. Now, I've heard all of you, and I can really see, what works is dissociating from, what's happening and what I'm talking about it. And what I'm talking about it is what becomes the mental diarrhea. And when I'm so identified with my identity, I'm not even present to the vast divinity around me. And I've been practicing meditation with a different guru for last 10. I've been practicing Kriya Yoga for about 10 years now. So I really, that's what provides me strength. And there was one thing which I was, before I got into the transformative work about distinguishing how language has such a play in what I experience in life or how I deal with the stresses in life. There was one thing which I used to take on as a practice. If there's something showing up in my life, which is what I do not have handle on, or it's repetitive, there is something for me to learn from it. And the moment I've gone through that and broken through that, what was there for me to learn, it stops repeating. That was purely from what Guruji used to say in terms of how I can deal with what I cannot handle. And yes, prayer works. I do a prayer every day. I pray for everyone around me. I believe in sharing that love and the light, which is what I'm sure everybody on this panel believes in as well in some form, and really trusting with what you see is possible. I can be chanting mantras and I can be sitting in meditation, but not believing in it is not going to get me anything. So what's really, really very critical in my experience that I have been following is to be with that and let go. It's like just surrendering 100% to whatever path that I think works for me.
Perfectly said, Anshul. To sum up the whole thing, this is a very interesting perspective as well, is that believing in what you are doing is also very critical. Like the passion with which Rishiji mentioned about the Doha, Adbhut Marg Dikhaunga, I'll take you to Amarlok, is what Sadhguru Sadhguru says. So you believe in that and you will go there. So that's so appropriate. And in the interest of the time, I would like to conclude. The discussion has been very interesting, and probably the expertise of the panel took us to various areas, right from the meditation, right from the fact that it doesn't touch Prabhatji. So which means there is a perspective where you can make yourself into a format where it doesn't touch you. Or if you look at what Venkatji has done, the stress came, they sat down over it, they took it for 12 to 14 hours, and then they decided, no, it's enough. We cannot do that. And what Rishiji says comes back to the perspective that do it all the time, 10 minutes a day, right? You put something in the freezer. It doesn't become cold overnight. It takes some time to get to a situation where constantly you become cooler and cooler and cooler. You just cannot become, the moment you start the refrigerator, it doesn't become cold. It takes time. So like that, and as also Rishiji did mention about the fact that you have to have a quick plan of action and do what we can, right? And finally, once again, I would come to this very powerful thing which Anshul mentioned, is believing in what we are doing. So thank you very much, Rishiji, Anshulji, Prabhatji, Vikasji, and Venkatji for your valuable inputs. This was a very interesting discussion. I would like to invite Subhashji for some comments on this one, because he has always got a perspective which is exclusive. Subhashji, over to you.
Thank you very much, Prabhatji. And before I start for anything, I must say that I was so much enjoying all the discussions which everyone was commenting and mentioning their viewpoints. I was thinking that this should have been continued for some more time, because when collective mind, when collective thoughts, when collective effort goes on one specific topic, it really comes like anything which would be so much helpful for all of us. So I was very calmly listening to all the panelists, Thank you very much, everyone, for bringing up all the points. And since the topic was my stress, my solution, so what I believe is that you had probably done your best in your stressful moment, and the solution which you probably worked on at that time point, that was the best what you did. Otherwise, you would have not done it, right? At that time point, you selected your best solution and acted on it, whichever way it was possible for you. So here I would like to bring a concept of risk management, right? Stress is a kind of risk. Stress is a kind of problem to us, whether tangible way or intangible way, whether it is happening outside, whether it is happening inside. I really like Rishiji's the word mental diarrhea. So when it appears as a risk, whether it is happening right now or you foresee it happening at some time, you have to manage yourself at that point or even before. And that's why in the corporate world or even other side or even at the time of ancient rishis, Maharsi's time, there was a concept of risk management. Either I think we have discussed about these things previously. Sometimes you face it, sometimes you share it with someone else, sometimes you just avoid it, or sometimes you do something else, find a specific solution and do it out. I think all of us right now, the solutions which we were talking about was mixture of everything. But I think I would like to highlight some of the things at my end, especially I 100% agree based on my own experience also is that we live with a stress. If I tell myself, I actually live with a stress. Stress is all around me. Just a very simple thing could be, okay, whether I'm visible properly on the video right now on Zoom or not, that can create a stress to me. Whether my shaving is done properly or not, light is happening in front of me or not, whether my sidewise this or that, small things can create a stress to me. But as rightly mentioned by, I don't remember now who mentioned that, but how we take it completely with us. And along with this, I would like to say what Venkatji mentioned and Anshulji also mentioned, learning from what the stress we faced and not just learning. The most important point what I'm bringing and the word I'm highlighting here is realization. The stress, if we say that it is part of our life, our whole life is a stress, which comes with responsibility also. If you don't have any responsibility, there will not be any stress. Believe me, no stress will be there, because if we are not attached to it in one way or another, if you don't have responsibility towards something, if you don't care about something, stress would not come. In any case, you will be stress-free completely. So stress is a sign of our care. Stress is a sign of our responsibility. Stress is sign of our love towards some people or something what we have around. But the point is how much we are realizing about it. Once the stress comes, we can, believe me, we can never end the bucket of stress. It will always be there in one form or another. The important thing, we as a human being, the important thing is, did we realize it? What we learned from it? What evolution happened inside me? Did I evolve? Did I evolve with that stress? In one day, probably when somebody like, let me take my example, when I have studied everything in Hindi. I mean, till class 10, all my subjects other than English was everything in Hindi. When I had to shift to English, how I am doing it? Am I practicing it on a regular basis? Am I evolving? Probably at the beginning time, it would have been a stressful situation to me. But probably now, it is completely different. Have I evolved or not? How did I evolve? That evolution would happen only when I face it. Facing stress is an opportunity for us to have evolution. What we should be afraid of it? Is there anything in our hand? Anything that a stress came to us in one form or another? Did we have any arrangement or anything so that it didn't come? The risk management point says that do your full planning, arrange this, do this, etc., etc., etc. Despite that, we always have a stress, we always have problem. There is no single project which you can say, I think most of you, all of us have been working in all different parts of our life. We have seen that how well you plan anything, problem will come. Solution is also there. So what I see, what I have learned so far is we are engrossed in our day-to-day life, fighting with all these stresses in all different ways is good enough. But is the point that we are losing our time towards moving towards the real objective of life? Is this the one only where we are here for? There are so many things around us. There are so many responsibilities for us. And we all know that we have to live with it. And because you mentioned one very interesting thing, that if you know that there is stress, and at the time, you know that there is solution, then why to stress? Just work on it and do it. And if you know that there is no solution, then again, why to worry about it? Why to stress it? Accept it the way it is. Acceptance is one of the risk management strategy also to fight with your stress one way or another. But one thing I want to mention here is based on my own experience from, of course, being associated with Vihangam Yoga since my childhood. Of course, childhood time is altogether different, and now being an adult is altogether different. But what I always remember is one thing. Rishiji mentioned about one doha. I would like to bring one specific doha, which I always keep with myself at least. And that is the only thing, believe me, that is the only thing. Many people ask me, how you are so motivated all the time to do so many things here and there. There are so many things which a person has to manage. How did you get so much of time and you manage things here and there? I have only one thing, and that is, let me tell it from Swarved. What Swamiji mentioned in Swarved is, Sadguru Sukrita Devaji Sada Rahe Mama Saath, Mujh Chinta Kis Kaam Ka, Ja Par Prabhu Kar. That is a doha mentioned by Swamiji, Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj in Swarved. He himself has faced so much of a stress at his own time when he started doing prachar and prasar. What happened to him? How did he do all these things? Like Rishiji mentioned, Adbhuta Maraga Yoga Vihangam, Main tumko batlaunga, yadi vidhivat tum sadhan kari ho amar lok pahunchaunga. Do you not think that such a strong statement as proclamation to the whole world, not just for one time, forever, can bring so much of a stress to him, whether this, what I'm saying, how I'm saying is really the point or not? If he just be involved into, if he just be involved in that, probably he would not make that a statement. At the time also, he would have thought about Sadguru Sukrita Devaji Sada Rahe Mama Saath, Mujh Chinta Kis Kaam Ka, Ja Par Prabhu Kar Haath. So that doesn't mean that we don't do anything. Okay, ठीक है, प्रभु है, ईश्वर है, सब वही कर रहे हैं, कराएंगे, मुझे क्या करना है? It's not that. We have to perform. Why? Because we have to realize. Why? Because we have to evolve by changing our basis from one to another, from body to mind to intellect, and going towards soul, and more further from there onward to unite with the Supreme Soul. That's what yoga is. Are we evolving? The stress opportunity comes to us to make us realize how much we have evolved as a test to us. So I think stress, I always take it as an opportunity, always an opportunity, whether it is a good or bad. There is nothing outside good or bad. Anything good or bad is just inside how we take it, which way we take it out. The reality is what we have learned, how we have evolved. And one more thing I definitely would like to highlight, because you also mentioned about that, Venkatji also mentioned about that. When I see, I think when I was hearing, it was so common from all the side. Of course, all of us had all different examples, which actually hits us at all different points. be it an example of train, be it an example of hot water, cold water, be it an example of accident or anything. It gives us an indication to learn passively. Everything may not happen with one person, right? If I presume, if I expect that all different kind of stress should come to me, how strong I am doesn't matter, I will handle everything. It's not possible that all the stress will come to me. It's not possible. Life is short, events are short, time is short. But we can learn the evolution by listening to others, visualizing or imagining or putting our leg to the shoes to the other people to understand how they have evolved. And that's how we follow the great people, how they have faced all the difficulties, all the stressful situation in their life, whether we can learn from there to implement it in our day-to-day life or not. So I think what I always see for me, be it the situation of a family member's death, fighting with death, especially we just heard there has been many examples, the fear of death because of the COVID. I am not an exception on that. My family members also had been there on the same situation, but it didn't stop anything at my end. The daily activity as it is, it continued. Although I have heard from many people, no, Subhashji, right now, please excuse me. This time period is so difficult. I cannot give so much of time right now for this, that, etc., etc. Was it not applicable to me? Was it not applicable to Srinivasji? Was it not applicable to Prabhaji? Was it not applicable to Podarji? Was it not applicable to this, that? Everyone it is applicable. How we decide is on the basis of priority. And the time we realize about our own life, what is the main objective of our life, no matter what happens in us, inside here and there, around us, we will always be focused on our aim to take it there, what we are here for. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining with us. Back to you, Srinivasji. Yes, Gurudev.
Thank you, Subhashji. As I had mentioned in the beginning itself, you always come with an interesting perspective. Stress is an opportunity. That's a punchline of today. And let's take it from there. Thank you very much for your perspective and the panel for the valuable comments. I hand over to Omji for taking it from there.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And it was a nice discussion. I really like the example was given here, even though the hot water going to add up in a cold water, which is in a bucket, nothing going to be happen. So just because this is the key, is make my day. Perfectly explained. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Rishiji, Prabhasji, Ansulji, Vikasji, Venkatji, and Srinivasji, Subhashji. Now we are moving forward to the Santi part, which is a closing prayer. So for this, I'm going to invite Master Pranav. He's 8-year-old and regularly reading a survey. I don't know how much he understands while he's reading. So Pranav, I think you are ready. Just start the Santi part, please.
जय सरुदेव। विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवारित शिष्य शांति हो, सत्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांति में शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांति में शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा कल शांति में शांति शांति सुख शांति, शांति शांति सुख शांति। जय सुखदेव।
Thank you, Pranavji, for the Santi part. I hope to learn from you in the future. Good luck to you. And now for the next, which is the special comments, I would like to invite Mr. G.R. Pudar. He is joining us from Singapore and directing Vihangam Yoga Singapore team. He's a regular Vihangam meditation practitioner. Over to you, Mr. Pudar.
Jai Sri Sadguru Dev to all. Really in life, there is always a problem, stress, and solution will be also there. But very important thing, what is the aim of our life? Likely, the Subhash Ji said, what is our main objective? Main objective is to meet the God permanently, because we are in the circle of birth and rebirth. So how to reach to that level, that is the meditation procedure. The Swamiji Sadafalji Maharaj has done the 17 years tapasya in the Himalaya and teach us the 5 stages of meditation, because it is not very easy to meditate. But if we surrender to the God, if we surrender to the Sadguru, then we can have the proper meditation. Like in the Swarved has written, Prabhu Prasad Sadguru Daya, Prabhu Prasad Sadguru Daya, Mana Hoy Swadhin, Anya Koye Yukti Nahi, Sadguru Charan Adhin. So we have to surrender to the Sadguru Bhagwan, and definitely, because this is our main objective, the stress will in the whole life till birth and death, the problem will come, solution will also come. The important thing is the meditation, how to control the mind, the 5 stages of meditation, and that we have to continue, because the first stage of meditation, we control the mind from the outside. The second stage of meditation, we control the mind from the inside and we purify. The third stage of meditation, then the Kundalini open. The 4th stage, we Sadguru Bhagwan, we see the Sadguru Bhagwan Mandal, and the last stage, we meet the God permanently. So this is our main objective. So we should not afraid, because in the life, happiness, sorrow will be there. But we have to go along with that life, because we cannot stop. So important things we must do, we should do meditation every day, 10 minutes, morning and evening. Definitely it will reduce the stress, it will reduce the problem. Like this Subhash ji said, जब उनका माथे पर हाथ है सदगुरु भगवान का, फिर किस बात की चिंता है? उनको ध्यान में रखते हुए we surrender to him and do our daily activities, because we are come for some mission here and we do our job work with a positive direction. With that, thank you very much. Jai Sri Sadguru Dev to all.
Thank you, Mr. Pudar. I hope you always inspire us, enlighten us, and thank you again. Now, moving forward, we are at the end of the session. And for vote of the thanks, I would like to invite Sandhya ji joining us from Singapore. She is involved in various social activities and serving society in Singapore. Sorry, there was some interruption.
Yeah, Jai Sadguru Dev ji. What an enlightened morning we had today, and I will like to thank Vihangam Yoga Singapore for this very relevant topic. What we choose today is my stress, my solutions, and what we are going through present day. And I would like to thank the boys like Mahin, Vamash, and Pranav for beautiful recitation of the prayers, and also like to thank panelists for their valuable inputs. That includes Rishi ji, Anshulji, Prabhatji, Vikasji, and Venkatji. And I would like to thank Subhashji for his insightfulness with Vihangam Yoga and his experiences and how he handles the stress. And I would like to thank Omji and Srinivasji for emceeing and conducting the session. And also I would like to thank Podarji for his words and how to handle stress through Sarved recitation. And I would like to thank Chandralji, who is the back support and who always support us for all the back end work. And I would like to thank Vihangam Yoga Singapore. Thanks a lot, everybody. Jai Sadguru Dev.
Thank you, Sandhya-ji. And as we already seen today, Wahin and Bimars in this satsang in the starting, they have performed Sahibgan and Mangalgan. So definitely this must be a proudful moment for both of you, Sandhya-ji and Srinivas-ji, and as well as the Vihangam Yoga Singapore team. Thank you for your support. Now you can see in the screen our all social media platform. Do take a note. We are available in YouTube channel, Facebook, our Gmail, and do take a note of our daily practice session, which is happen 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. for the weekdays and 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. for the weekends. And now, if anyone has any question, please unmute yourself and ask a question. We will try to answer you until you satisfy.
Omji, I would like to mention here, it's not just as a question. If anyone else wants to make any additional comment, not just panelists, anyone else, please feel free to contribute and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Subhashji, I have a question for you. So, with respect to today's topic, maybe you can put some light that how reading Swarved every day will help in reducing our stress, maybe a little bit in more detail. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Chandanji. I would like to keep it as short as possible. Yesterday we had a session on Yagya Havan, where Khushbuji had joined from India to elaborate few things related with Havan. And there she mentioned one thing, and that was the Rishio Mantra Drashtara, which means the Rishi, actually, I'm not talking about Muni, I'm not talking about practitioners, I'm talking about the Rishis and Maharshis, right? So in the ancient time, and even now probably, those Rishis whose mantras we have been reciting nowadays here and there all the times to protect ourselves and have a good well-being for us, how did that originated? So that's what it says. Rishio Mantra Drashtara means those Rishi during their Samadhi state have experienced and see, not through these eyes, but the divine eyes. They see and experience some words in terms of the form, in the form of the sound, and they actually had given the frame to all those sounds, which we now call it as mantras. So basically, whenever we see mantras, it is always in Sanskrit, right? But if we understand the meaning of mantra, how does it function? Then we will really understand what this Swarved is, and reciting or reading Swarved on a regular basis, what it can bring to us. So when we talk about sound, there is a huge spiritual discussion and a spiritual explanation behind sound, how exactly it has to be experienced and what exactly it is inside us, how does it form, and all those kind of things, and how we speak right now, in which form. So Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has mentioned that there are 4 different forms of Vani, right? 4 different types. One is Akari, one is Madhyama, one is Pashyanti, one is Para. All these 4 are linked with each other. And in fact, the one which we say, like right now I am speaking, something is coming out from my mouth, that is actually called Bhakhari Vani. But the origin of this Bhakhari Vani is not just the mouth. It actually starts from somewhere else. How do we think? Is there something linked with our thinking? What sound is that? And in fact, in that origination of that sound in the mind, from where does that even also start? So there is a backward origination of all these sounds. And ultimately, if you go, then you will find that we are connected to that Almighty, to that Brahma, Parabrahma, through this one specific sound, which once goes inside us, which is already there inside us, got deviated, diversified in lot many different other sounds also. And when somebody like rishis connect themselves with that origin, then they realize and understand what exactly the meaning of this sound and the meaning of all these akshara and all these words and letters are there, which we read nowadays. So when we recite, when we read those mantras from this Bakhri Vani, using our throat, using our teeth, using our, tongue and all those, which actually creates different kind of vibration, different kind of friction. And those vibration and friction impact us inside as well as outside. Why inside? Because origin is from somewhere else. Why outside? Because it comes out as a sound. And let's talk first outside. When that sound goes outside, it impacts the molecules and atoms outside in this environment around you. How does it impact? That sound, like if you take a small paper in front of you and then say loudly something, the paper will shake. Or wherever you have gone in a party or DJ, you might have seen a huge high volume sound box is near you, your heartbeat suddenly starts pumping like anything. How does it happen? There is a vibration, there is intermolecular force which is actually happening because of that sound which comes outside from our mouth. How that intermolecular force works on each and every single atoms and molecules around you completely depends on the origin of that force, how hard it is, from which angle, from what side, and all those kind of things. Like very simple example, if I say something like this, okay, it's a very simple sound, it's a whistle. And similarly, I say both have sounds, but the impact of both of these sounds are very different. Why? Because the intermolecular force which is coming out from the mouth is very different, and that's how it will impact the atoms and molecules around me. And that's how the whole sound system works. So this is outside, and that's how it impacts our body, because we are connected to this outside world through our body. But at the same time, if you go inside, then the origin of this sound, how deep it goes towards, it completely depends on that person's connectivity and upliftment from inside, and the change in the basis, which I was talking just a few minutes back. Whether we hear that sound, whether we realize that sound, the origin of that sound only towards the body inside, or we really understand how does the mind function, or we really realize how does it go towards the intellect, and further going beyond towards soul and the supreme soul. If we are more connected towards that, then those mantras function on us internally very differently. Sadhguru Siddhartha Devji Maharaj, as Padarji mentioned, he had done 17 years long penance to understand, imbibe, and absorb all the spiritual power and spiritual connectivity through his rigorous meditation practice. And then what he did, that with a specific motive, under the guidance of Nitya Anadi Sadguru itself, as well as under the guidance of that Almighty, he noted down all those experiences at a state of samadhi in words for the benefit of others. And that's what it is, Swarved. Swarved, he gave this name because Swaved is Swarved. Swa means Swam, and the supreme being as well. So Atma or Paramatma. Ved means Gyan, the knowledge. So it's that book from which we have knowledge, we can gain the knowledge of ourself and the supreme self. And that's how, as we have been mentioning, yoga means union of the soul with the supreme soul. It can be known It can be experienced. Again, depends on the level at what we are talking about by just reading Swarved. So there are more than 3,700 couplets available in this particular encyclopedia of spirituality, where Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj has explained each and every single bits and pieces of spirituality, and all are, any of these are not taken from here and there. It's all based on his own single-handedly experience at the level of Sadhguru, at the level of Samadhi, the Sadhguru, and even beyond that. So think about it. All these Swarved couplets, are they not those mantras which we talk about in Sanskrit? Sanskrit, everyone cannot understand. As I think Venkatji or I think Anshulji mentioned today, that when we are reciting something and we don't understand what we are doing, we don't have that feeling, we don't have that connectivity, we don't have that bhav, with all those things, then it is not of that use, right? Similarly, when we are reciting Swarat Om Trayambakam Yamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, and we are just reciting it, and our feeling is not the way it has to be. We are not connected with that sound. We are not connected with that mantras anywhere here and there. It's not of that use. Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar, Jai Kapish Tingle Gujagar, Jai Gurudev Hare, Swami Sara Gurudev Hare. We are just, I mean, out of just saying, we are just saying it. It's not of that much of use. So when we sit down properly with Swarved at a clean place, calm place, putting ourselves full into it to understand what exactly it is in Hindi. And those, of course, who know Hindi will be able to understand it in a much more better way. Once you start reading and understanding it, you know how it happens? It will impact you in outside, and it will start impacting you more inside, because you will be finding yourself connected to it. Why? Because the language is in such a way that, and the origin of all that words and language is in such a way put here is that anyone can go backward from Bakri to Madhyama to Pashanti to Para in the backward side, from where all these sounds have got originated. So thank you very much, Chandanji, for bringing this point. We have been doing every day 2 couplet recitation in the morning after our daily meditation practice session, along with the meaning. And those who have been associated with Swarved, I'm sure they have seen the impact in their day-to-day life. Thank you, Chandan.
Any other question? Please unmute yourself. And we do share one link in a chat box where you can give your feedback, anything you like, anything you want us to improve on. Please feel free to share. And this is the end of the session. Thank you everyone for your participation. See you in the next session. Till the time, take care, stay healthy, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yes.